6 salaries, same country, same year, same tax code. 40,000, 60, 80, 110, 150, 250,000 and up. You think the difference is lifestyle? Bigger house, better car, nicer holiday? It isn't. The difference is how much of it you never see. And there are two places on this ladder where your raise disappears before it ever reaches you. Neither one is a tax bracket. Neither one is on any chart. This is your life at every level of income, what you earn, and what actually lands. Let's start at the bottom. Your salary is $40,000, $3,300 a month on paper. You have seen that number on an offer letter. You have never once seen it in your account. Here is where it goes. Federal income tax takes about $2,600 a year. FICA takes $3,060. That is Social Security and Medicare, 7.65%. And it comes off your very first dollar, not after an allowance, the first one. Before your state takes anything, you are down $5,660. Call it $34,300, $2,860 a month. The Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Expenditure Survey says where the rest goes. Housing, about $950. Transport, $500. Food, $400. That leaves you roughly $1,000. And every dollar of it is already spoken for. Spoken for by the car that needs tires, by the tooth, by the friend getting married in a city you have to fly to. None of that is a discipline problem. That is the ordinary arrival rate of life, landing on a margin too thin to absorb it. Now here is what nobody tells you down here. You are almost certainly in the 12% federal bracket, second lowest there is. And what you actually pay, across everything you earned, is closer to 7%. At $40,000, the tax code is not your problem. The rent is your problem. Which is why the advice that works down here is the opposite of the advice that works higher up. Down here, the whole game is fixed costs. Rent, car, insurance. 3 decisions you make once that then run for years without ever asking your permission again. Tax optimization at this level is worth a few hundred a year. Moving somewhere $300 cheaper a month is worth $3,600. It is not close. Nobody makes videos about that. It is not clever. It is just true. At $40,000, you keep about 86 cents on the dollar. That is the highest share you will ever keep. And the next level is $20,000 away. Marcus took the raise on a Tuesday. 40 to 60, he told you at lunch. He had already done the arithmetic. An extra $1,660 a month, he said. He had a plan for all of it. Hold that number, $1,660. Your salary is $60,000, $5,000 a month on paper, $20,000 more than the last level. It will not feel like $20,000. Federal tax goes to about $5,400, FICA to $4,590. Take-home lands near $49,000, $4,080 a month. So you gained $20,000 in salary. You gained about $14,700 in your account. That is the first thing worth noticing. The gap between the number on the offer letter and the number in your account is not fixed. It widens every single time you climb. Every raise you are ever offered will be quoted to you in the wider number. Every decision you make with it happens in the narrower one. That one mismatch explains more bad outcomes than any purchase you will ever regret. At $40,000, you kept 86 cents on the dollar. Here you keep about 82. Now, the Consumer Expenditure Survey shows something specific happening between these two levels. Housing spending rises, but not by 20,000. It rises by about 3,000. So the rest goes somewhere. And for most households here, it goes into things that leave no trace. Food away from home, subscriptions, the car payment that replaced the paid-off car. This is the first level where your money is genuinely available and genuinely invisible. Nobody decided to spend more on lunch. It happened the way most spending happens, one reasonable choice at a time. None of them worth arguing about on its own. Now, Marcus. His actual increase was closer to $1,225 a month, not $1,660. He never checked. He had already committed the $1,660. That is a $435 hole opening every month inside a life that had just got easier. It does not arrive as a crisis. It arrives 11 months later as a credit card balance nobody can quite account for. At $60,000, the raise was real. The plan he built on it was made from a number that never existed. And the next level is $20,000 away. Your salary is $80,000, $6,600 a month on paper. Federal tax around $8,800. FICA, $6,120. Take home roughly $65,000, $5,400 a month. $80,000 does not mean what you were told it means. You are now in the 22% federal bracket. Your marginal rate has nearly doubled since level 1. Your effective rate has not. And that is the part almost everyone confuses. Marginal is the rate on your next dollar. Effective is what you actually hand over across everything you earned. They are two different numbers, and only one of them appears on a bracket chart. At $80,000, you keep about 81 cents on the dollar, down from 86 at the bottom. Look how slowly that is falling. 4 cents across a doubling of your salary. So the brackets are not what hurt you here. What hurts you here is not a tax at all. It has no bracket. It appears on no chart, and it is waiting about $15,000 above where you are standing right now. So let's stop climbing for a moment. This is the first of the two places where the ladder stops being a ladder. If you buy your own health insurance through the marketplace, this is where the subsidy structure starts to matter. Premium tax credits phase out as your income rises. Every extra dollar you earn reduces the credit you receive. Read that again. Not your tax, your credit. So in a specific band around this level, a raise can be partly canceled by a rising premium. You earn more, your take-home rises, and your insurance cost rises alongside it, eating a share of the gain as it arrives. The exact numbers depend on your household size, your state, and the plan you chose. What does not depend on any of that is the shape. The ladder is not smooth here, and it only applies if you buy your own cover. If your employer provides it, this flat spot does not exist for you at all. Your ladder through this band looks completely different, which means two people on identical salaries, one on an employer plan and one on the marketplace, are not on the same ladder. They are on two different ladders that happen to share the same numbers down the side. Think about what that does to a decision. You are offered a role paying $6,000 more. You accept. Obviously you accept. $6,000 is $6,000. After federal tax and FICA, you keep around $4,200 of it. And if your marketplace premium climbs across that same band, a meaningful share of what is left goes straight back out again. You did nothing wrong. You walked into a stretch of ladder where the rungs sit closer together than they look, and nobody had ever drawn you the map. Nobody in this niche puts that on a chart, because it is not a lifestyle detail. It is a mechanism. That is flat spot 1. There is one more, and it points the other way. And the next level is $30,000 away. Your salary is $110,000, $9,100 a month on paper. Federal tax around $16,000, FICA $8,415. Take home, roughly $85,000, $7,080 a month. Now stop and look at the whole climb. You have gone from $40,000 to $110,000. Your salary is nearly 3 times larger. Your take-home is about 2.5 times larger. That gap, between 3 times and 2.5, is the entire story of this ladder. But the Consumer Expenditure Survey shows something else happening here, and it is not more spending. It is a change in what the spending is. Housing rises again, but the share of your income going to housing actually falls. What rises instead is the category the survey files under personal insurance and pensions. In plain words, at this level, for the first time, a real share of your money starts going toward the future instead of the month. Not because people get wiser at $110,000, because this is the first level where there is enough left after the fixed costs for the future to be an option at all. The behavior did not change, the margin changed, and the behavior followed it. Which means the advice aimed at someone standing at level 1, telling them to invest more, is not wrong exactly. It is aimed at a margin that does not exist yet. There is a specific evening that happens at this level. You open a spreadsheet you have not looked at since last year. The number at the bottom is bigger than you expected. Not dramatically, noticeably. Nothing happened. No windfall. No lucky year. You did the same 4 things for 12 months, and the number moved on its own for the first time. The survey calls that a category shift. What it feels like is a month that ended with something still in it. If you have had that evening, say so in the comments. I want to know how many of you recognize the exact one I mean. At $110,000, you keep about 77 cents on the dollar, and the next level is $40,000 away. Your salary is $150,000, $12,500 a month on paper, federal tax around $24,000, FICA $11,475, take home roughly $114,000, $9,500 a month. You are in the 24% bracket now. You keep about 76 cents on the dollar, 10 cents less than you kept at the bottom of this ladder, and you had to nearly quadruple your salary to lose them. That is the trade almost everybody accepts without ever seeing it written down. But you are also standing about $26,000 underneath the strangest line in the entire tax code. Everything you have ever been taught says the next stretch gets steeper, that every dollar above this one is taxed harder than the dollar before it. For one specific band, just above where you are standing, that is false. There is a line above you where the bite on your next dollar gets smaller. The Social Security portion of FICA stops at a ceiling. In 2025, that ceiling is $176,100. Below it, you pay 6.2% on every single dollar. Above it, that portion stops. Completely. The Medicare portion carries on, but the Social Security piece is finished for the year, which means somewhere just above $150,000, the total tax on your next dollar goes down, not up, down. Not the income tax. That still climbs, exactly as you would expect. But the combined bite, federal and payroll together, has a notch cut into it. Most people never see that notch, because most people never earn across the line inside a single calendar year. So here is where the two flat spots sit next to each other. One of them punishes a raise. One of them quietly rewards it. Neither appears on any chart of tax brackets, because neither one is a tax bracket. They are edges, and this whole ladder is shaped far more by its edges than by its middles. Priya crossed that ceiling in October. She noticed because her last 2 paychecks of the year were bigger than the 10 before them. She assumed it was a bonus. It was not a bonus. It was the Social Security portion switching off for the rest of the calendar year. In January, it switched back on, and her pay went down again. She had been doing this for 4 years. She had never once worked out why autumn always felt easier than spring. That is flat spot 2. And the next level is $100,000 away. Your salary is $250,000 and up, $20,800 a month on paper. Take-home lands somewhere near $170,000, and it depends heavily on your state. You are keeping roughly 68 cents on the dollar. At level 1, you kept 86. So you climbed 6 times over in salary, and you handed back 18 more cents out of every dollar to do it. But the Consumer Expenditure Survey shows the thing that surprises people most about this level. The absolute spend on food, on transport, on the ordinary running of a life does not scale anywhere close to proportionally. A household here does not eat 6 times more than a household at $40,000. What scales is the gap, the amount left over after everything. And that is the actual difference between these 6 levels. Not the car, not the house, not the holiday. The difference is what remains when the month is over, and whether anything was ever built with it. Because 2 households can stand on this exact level, with identical pay stubs, and be 5 years apart in outcome. The survey sees them as one row. Their accounts do not agree. One of them still drives the car they bought 9 years ago. The other has replaced theirs twice in the same period. Nothing in the data can tell you which of them is happier. What it can tell you is that the distance between those 2 positions, 5 years from now, will be wider than the distance between level 1 and level 4. Same income, same tax code, same country. At the top of this ladder, the number on your offer letter stops being the thing that separates you from the person standing beside you. So here is the shape of the whole ladder. From $40,000 to $250,000, your salary rises 6 times over. Your take-home rises about 5. Your fixed costs rise maybe 2.5. That is the whole mechanism. The denominator stops growing while the numerator keeps going. It is not that people at the top are better with money. It is that the gap opens on its own once the fixed costs stop chasing the income. And in 2 specific places, one at the marketplace subsidy band and one at the Social Security wage base, the ladder goes almost flat or bends the other way entirely. Nobody plans around those 2 places. Nobody puts them on the chart. You know where they are now. None of this is advice about what to do. It is a description of the terrain. Whether you should change anything because of it depends on facts about your life that no video can know. But it is worth watching for, because the next raise you are offered will be quoted to you in the wide number, and every decision you make with it will happen in the narrow one. Notice the gap. That is the whole thing.